This is a special podcast presentation from 700WLW.com. This is Steve Sommers on Demand. This is America's Truckin' Network with Steve Sommers.
Thank you much, and welcome back. Thursday coming on, one step closer to the weekend. All right, so according to AccuWeather, update, a service of Lucas Oil. Maximize performance out of your diesel this winter with Lucas Oil Anti-Gel, which is available at TA and petrol stopping centers around the country. Storm's going to move up the eastern coast, strengthening into a nor'easter this weekend. Now, it's expected right now to graze the mid-Atlantic region, intermittent precip. Could hit parts of eastern New England pretty hard. Heavy rain, snow, and strong winds. Looks like the strengthening storm will spread a swath of rain along the east coast after drenching Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas on Friday. They're talking about some airline delays possible anywhere from Atlanta to Orlando, Charlotte, North Carolina, and other southern U.S. hubs for a time. We could even see some severe thunderstorms in portions of Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina on Friday. As the rain enters some of the colder air from the central Appalachians to southern New England, we'll see a wintry mix. Some sleet could occur at the onset Friday night into early Saturday, just enough to make roads slippery for portions of central and northern Pennsylvania, on into upstate New York, central Massachusetts, and southernmost portions of Maine. For part of northern New England, snow or snow changing to a wintry mix is in store. Several inches possible, which will mean some difficult travel conditions there during Saturday. According to AccuWeather, in that swath from Washington, D.C. to Philly, New York City to Boston, it's essentially going to be a rather cold rainstorm. So I guess it could be a whole lot worse. The rainy scenario includes northern and western suburbs of the cities along the I-95 corridor. Most of the rain from D.C. to New York will be taking place Friday night. So there's your breakdown around the country as we head toward the weekend. All right, Dean, welcome back. Good to have you with us here.
Thank you, Steve. Glad to be here. Hey, what did you think about that State of Union address?
You know, just more of the same old, same old.
I watched it. Go ahead.
Over the last 7 years, we've heard the same thing about 7 times, hadn't we?
You know, what's really sad is that you hear him say things that we ought to be doing. Or, you know, we should be helping the small business owners. We should be helping the people that are out of work and making sure they can get work again. Well, why didn't you do that 8 years ago?
Yep.
You know, I don't get it. It really, I don't know. I get really upset listening to the same old stuff over and over again, like you said. It really kind of chaps my hide. I'm hoping we get someone in office that's actually going to make a change someday, but who knows?
What do you think about the Trumpster?
I like him.
Do you?
I do. You know what I like about him is that nobody can buy him. He's got enough of his own money.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of these presidents, when they get into position, it's because there are these big corporations and what have you that paid his political campaign. So there's an agenda there. You know, there's something that he owes later on that he's got to pay back in some way, shape, or form. And with Trump, he doesn't need any more money. So that's a good thing. On the flip side of that, you know, sometimes he does say some stupid stuff, but he says it how it is. The unfortunate part is, you know, maybe later on it could cause some problems, but if it were up to me, I'd put him in office and see what he can do.
Yeah. All right, toll free. It's 888-860-8785. Jimmy was talking to someone. She didn't want to go on the air, but trying to say, so actually I guess the question would be, she's saying the Internal Revenue Service is now hiring outside agencies to collect for them. Have you ever heard of such a thing?
No, it's the states are doing that. The states are hiring outside agencies. the IRS is there doing all their own collections. But each state now has an outside collection agency. And some states it goes to the Attorney General, and then from the Attorney General it goes to an outside collection agency. And once it gets there, the only person you can deal with, or the only entity you can deal with, is the collection agency. You can't call up and deal with the state anymore. So this is one of the things I talked about before. The states are way worse than the IRS will ever be. So whenever we take on a case, we want to handle the state first, because the IRS will take into consideration what you're paying the state as part of those absolute necessary living expenses we talked about. They do an equation to determine what you can or cannot pay. And they take your income, you subtract housing, food, clothing, miscellaneous, transportation, medical, and whatever you're paying the state. Whatever's left over is the amount that you have left to pay the IRS. So if you take care of the state first, the amount that you pay the IRS will be much less. And the flip side of the coin, the state doesn't care how much you're paying the IRS. They want to get paid within a certain period of time. There are much lesser financial hardship programs available to you. They are much more aggressive. If they've already started enforcing collections against you, which is the reason why I urge people to, be proactive, there's no way to stop the enforced collections once they've already started, where in lieu of a voluntary plan, whereas if the IRS has already started, we can actually stop it in lieu of a voluntary payment plan that's much more affordable.
Is there a way to try to hide some of your income, like retire if you're putting money into a 401k or some sort of retirement account? Is that, do they consider that, is that legitimate, or do they want to count that money against you?
It's not an absolute necessary living expense.
So they'd want you to stop making contributions and pay them first.
Yep, for sure.
Gotcha. Saddles, hi there.
Hi, Steve. Hi, Ed.
How you doing?
Doing wonderful. I'm actually back to trucking again after they told me I never would.
Really? Well, God bless you.
I am, and I just made a deal on my new truck and looking forward to getting motor coat in the engine.
There you go. Motor coat was last night.
Yeah.
I was wondering why she was calling me Ed.
That's okay.
Okay, now I'm a fool. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay, honey. It's okay. Ed sounds a lot better than me on the radio.
Anyway, I just thought I would say hi.
So looking to get back out there as an owner-op, are you? Or
yeah, I'm back out here as an owner-op, running a dedicated route.
Fantastic. Well, if you need any help with your taxes, being an owner-operator, now have you set up a separate entity to run that business?
No, I have not.
Well, that might be something you need to give me a call for, because a lot of people run under their own name, under their Social Security number, and it ends up costing them a lot more in taxes. So it would be very wise to set up some type of an S corporation or an LLC. It's going to save you a ton of money in self-employment tax.
Give me that number so I can talk to you.
It's 561-899-4151. That's a direct line to me every day. And since I started doing this show, I gave up banker's hours years ago. So you guys can call me day or night. For tonight, that number forwards out to the operators here on the line. So if you have any questions at all, you can call in and talk with them.
Yeah, I'll do it during business hours.
All right. Well, my name's Dean Michael, not Ed, so feel free to give me a call. All right, honey.
I've been up too long, I think.
That's all right, sweetheart. God bless you. I hope you have a happy new year.
Thank you. You too.
Good to hear from you, Saddles. Thank you much. I thought, we actually had Ed on last night. We had Mr. Motorcoat here.
Yeah, I was listening to the show.
I'm looking at video from Chino, California, Chino Hills, the 7-Eleven store where the winning lottery ticket was sold. And there are hundreds and hundreds of people that have gathered in the parking lot of that store. I don't know why.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but just an incredible gathering. I don't know why, but
wow. Well, I imagine the news is going to be there, of course, because this is
they've got the news trucks.
$1.5
The news trucks are there with their the towers extending out of the vans and whatnot.
Yeah,
so I guess it's just a media frenzy. Maybe they're thinking someone's going to come in to claim the prize or something.
Yeah, maybe that's it. It's got to be that'll be hot news, man. This is the biggest one ever, isn't it?
Essentially, the largest jackpot in the world history. Spain has a lottery that's called the El Gordo. That got up to like $2.4 billion one time. But it's guaranteed that lottery is spread out amongst thousands of people. It's not like there's no way one person could win it, So.
Well, that's good.
This was the biggest one in world history, essentially. So.
Wow, that's just crazy.
Yeah, let me check in with Chris, I believe it is. Hello, Chris.
Hello, Steve.
How we doing tonight?
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. We got you.
Okay, I got a phone call today, and my question is, the phone call was a recording, and it stated, we are the IRS, and you have a federal lawsuit against you. Please call this number. So I called the number back, and nobody answered the phone.
That's the scam I was talking about in the beginning of the show. That's exactly what I was talking about. So obviously you've got a tax lien filed against you. So you must have some past taxes owed. So all the more reason to give me a call, man, and I can help you straighten it out for real. So the real IRS doesn't start sending you the notices. I don't know what your situation is or how bad it is, but even basically what they're doing is they're looking for tax debts that are more than $10,000, and those are the people that they're contacting. Now, also, they've contacted people that don't owe anything, by mistake. It could be something that's already been cleared up. You may be one of those people that's already fixed it in the past. They don't know. They're just throwing it out there and hoping.
I've been late, on state taxes, house tax, property tax, but they're all paid. Everything's paid, but, maybe a couple of days or a week late, but everything's paid up. It's just part of the world, We'll pay this bill this week, this bill next week.
I know how it goes, man. I know how it goes. It's what I've learned is that everybody's living paycheck to paycheck. Just some people's paychecks are bigger than others.
Yeah, I have no tax liens against me. I know that. I know some of the taxes that I paid years ago and recently, they may have been a little late, but no tax liens, no, none.
You haven't received any notices at all? Because usually that's what they're calling off of is public records.
No, I ain't seen none. I'll talk to my wife in the morning and ask her, did she pay the truck taxes, the house taxes? For our house taxes paid through the mortgage payment, taxes and interest it all in together.
Yeah, they don't call about that. If they call them pretending to be the IRS, it's an income tax or an employment tax. Maybe someone had employees before and they didn't pay the 941 taxes, a corporation tax. But it's some type of federal income tax that there is something documented in your name. They don't just call random numbers. So there has to be something out there. You might want to take advantage of our free tax investigation. We can find out for you. Or you can call the IRS yourself and see if there's anything.
Well, I'd rather call y'all.
Yeah, you're more than welcome
to
call in. Like I said, I don't charge anything to do the tax investigation for tonight only. Normally, I want people that I know have a tax problem, so I'm not wasting my time. Sounds to me like if you have anything at all, it's real minor. You probably wouldn't really need my help. But since you're listening to the show, you're calling in the studio and talking to me tonight, I'll be more than happy to help you out.
Okay, your number is?
561-899-4151. Give me a call late tomorrow because I'll be sleeping in the morning. 561-899-4151.
Well, you sleeping in, but I'll call you before I lay down, which is like 11 or 12.
All right, bud. No problem.
All right, Chris, thanks you very much. All right, so we got to get a quick break in here. Toll-free lines available to chat with Dean Michael, the tax doctor, mytaxhelpmd.com. It is 888-860-8785. Back after this on ATN, driven by Celadon and drive Celadon.com.
This is the NHRA Report on America's Trucking Network.
Kalitta Motorsports and Sealmaster have announced a major expansion of their partnership. Sealmaster will become the primary sponsor of the Top Fuel Dragster of Lawrenceburg, Indiana's J.R. Todd for the entire 2016 NHRA Mellow Yellow Drag Racing Series season. Don Schumacher Racing and Napa Auto Parts have announced a multi-year extension in their marketing partnership that began in 2008 with Ron Capps driving the Napa Auto Parts Dodge Charger RT funny car. During the 2016 NHRA Mellow Yellow Drag Racing Series season, the NHRA will celebrate 50 years of the funny car. The season-long promotion will feature fan-favorite cars, explain the evolution of the category, remember the greatest rivalries, and put the spotlight on the legends who drove those cars in some of the most memorable side-by-side races in NHRA history. For more on this, check it out at NHRA.com.
This is the NHRA Report on America's Trucking Network.
St. Dennison reporting for America's Truckin'.
All righty, back on a Thursday, one step closer to the weekend. All right, let me say, I got an email, Dean. I know you're not the tax preparer guy. You may not have the answer to this question. Can you ask your guest what this new form 1095C is? And
No, yeah, I'm definitely not the guy for that.
okay,
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Yeah.
I can look it up.
1095. So I have. There's how many different forms out there? There's hundreds of them, right? I don't know. They're saying that they've been told it's required as of this year. Maybe it has something to do with the whole health insurance thing. Maybe I don't know.
I'll look it up. I'll let you know in just a little bit.
Okay.
All right.
From there, let's get back to the Little Clinic listener line. Horse Feathers, hey there.
Good morning, Your Honor. Good morning, Dean.
Morning. How you doing, man?
Doing good. I just want to start out by saying I appreciate y'all being a sponsor of the Steve Show here and keeping them on the air, and glad to have you out here to help people that need your service.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
I do have to admit that I'm married to a tax accountant, so I really don't get too much in the bind there of really having the point to have to call you because I can't get away with something because I got the person there just watching me all the time.
Right.
You know, it's like my neighbor there. My neighbor's got the same problem, except for his wife's married to the person that does the building permit. So anytime he wants to put something up or do something around his property, his wife's out there. You know, you got to get a permit for that. But anyway, there, I did want to see though. You know, I was watching. You were talking about the State of the Union. I was watching that the other day, and being that I worked 8 hours, I had to DVR it. So I was watching it there yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see if I could deduct the cost of my broken big screen TV off my taxes this year.
Oh, sure. Jot that down.
I'll tell you what, after watching the State of the Union, I got about 3/4 of the way through it, and my TV got broken there. I just couldn't take it anymore. Man,
I tell you what, I was the same. I just get so mad everything that comes out of his mouth. I just couldn't believe it. Actually, you know, I was mad when he said that he lowered the deficit. I really wasn't aware that he did. I had to look it up afterwards.
Well, how can you make a statement like that? I mean, he's talking about the annual debt rather than adding $1 trillion on per year.
Yeah.
We're now only adding on $500 million or $500 billion, or
when I looked it up, because he said he lowered it by 2/3 or something like that.
Yeah.
Or it was 1/4 of what it was. When I looked it up, that wasn't the case. But if you looked at it year to year, it was less than what it was back during the time of the recession.
The year before, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
But technically, over his 7 years, he's doubled from right at $10 trillion to almost $20 trillion.
Yeah. So just everything that came out of his mouth just made me so mad. My wife and I were watching it together. We were both yelling, "Oh, right, you son of a!" It was really chapping my hide.
Yeah, the one I liked is that you're not supposed to expect to go to work at some place and make a career and retire from it. You know, you start your life, get things you want, get a family started, have some things, but expect to get laid off and have to go out and retrain yourself to start a new job. You can start all over at the bottom again.
Yeah, he said except for unless you're people in this chamber. that was a real kick in the teeth.
Yeah. Anyway, hey, one quick thing about the lottery there. Did you happen to catch those people in New Jersey there that on the last drawing there, I believe it was the Saturday drawing there? There was a group of people that were in a bar and they pooled together and they all got tickets. They saw the numbers come up and they all thought they won and celebrated. And everybody was telling the boss, the owner of the business, we quit. The owner walked out to get his car and asked the valet to get his car. He said, "You get your own car. I'm done here." And then they found out about 20 minutes later that they'd actually matched exactly the numbers from the Wednesday drawing, and somehow or another they saw something about the Wednesday drawing and thought that they'd actually.
It was the wrong drawing. I did see a bit of that this past day. That everybody celebrated. Be careful what you do if you're gonna tell your boss to kiss your ass. You better make sure you're actually a winner first. All right, hold there. We'll get back to the calls just ahead. It's 888-860-8785 on ATN, driven by Celadon and driveceladon.com. All right, back with Dean Michaels, the tax doctor, on a Thursday morning. Yeah.
Hey, Steve, I looked up that 1095-C.
Yes.
That she asked about, and it's a new Internal Revenue Code, came out 2016. There's a whole notice about it that they've got, and I'll read you the Internal Revenue Code. It says, notice extends due dates for 2015 information reporting requirements, like you thought, both furnishing to individuals and filing with the Internal Revenue Service for insurers, self-insuring employers, and certain other providers of minimum essential coverage under section yada, 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 the Internal Revenue Code, and information reporting requirements of applicable large employers under section 6056. Basically what it is they've extended the time for employers to give you, along with your W-2, a 1095-C, which is where they've provided health care to you. And a 1095-B is where you've proven you've got the health coverage. So the employers need to get your W-2s or 1099s by February 1st, but they don't need to get you this until March 31st. So they've given them some extra time to get you these documents. So you may actually get proof of your health coverage after you've already filed your tax return.
Okay. That's
all right. That's boring stuff, but
But that's the way. Okay.
All right.
And I guess so. That would impact like owner operators and things like that, or
precisely especially if they have employees, and they have to show that they've either offered them health coverage or they have health coverage.
I was looking here that can't believe this in the state of California. The lottery prizes, they say, are exempt from California state and local personal income taxes due to the California State Lottery Act of 1984.
Really?
So they're still going to have to pay federal tax on this, but man, that could have been a windfall for California too.
Yep. A couple of people have won the lottery on your show. Did you know that?
No, sir.
Yep. Couple of your loyal listeners have won the lottery. Matter of fact, they called me to manage the funds. So, yeah, they called me up, said they won the lottery and they want to make sure that they pay the least amount of taxes for the years to come. Can I help? So that was like 2-3 years ago.
Maybe that's why they don't call the show anymore.
Yeah. Could be.
We've had a few that have disappeared, and you wonder where people go, and just all right.
Now you know.
Yeah, you can't disclose personal info, but I got you. Thank you very much, Johnny. How we doing?
Hey, hello there.
What's that?
Good to hear from you. It's been a while since I talked. The lines has about got rusty. Yeah, they about got rusty. I used to talk to your daddy, way back there. I couldn't keep y'all in line.
Oh, yeah?
You sounded like your daddy, and your daddy sounded like you. He'd say, well, sometime you have done that to see what coal trains are doing down there. So Obama's about shut the coal train down.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I started trucking in '57 with a GMC gas burner, no sleeper, no air conditioner, and then I come on down the line. I truck back and forth when I get laid off of strikes and things, and I did truck some there, and well, 2 or 3 years ago, and then I got me a security job, and I was wanting to see what the tax man. Another friend of mine's wife was real good. She worked for Social Security in Birmingham, and she told me to tell them to cut me more. Well, some way, me and my wife, a joint filing, we wound up owing them $7,000. So my wife, she's been off since April, and that company's supposed to pay her. I had to get my lawyer friend on him, and so I told them people in the IRS that I couldn't pay but $50. I just about to lose my house. My insurances went to $400, and my house payment was already $756. You got light bill and telephone bill, and somebody said a year or two ago, oh, they can't touch your Social Security. The federal government can do what they want to if you got the money in the bank. But I just overdraft all the time, and I've been able to call them this week, and they cut $295 out of my check, and they didn't ask me out of my Social Security.
Yeah, they can take 15%, my friend. That's what they can do. They can take 15% of your Social Security, and if all you have is Social Security, they can take more if you've got other employment. So,
well, I get a little old check from my house payment generally runs 3 or more. And then time I get all of that paid, and I have to pay, they don't know I have to pay deductible to the doctor and the insurance. You know what? I'm going to have a meeting with them and show them what I owe.
Why don't you just have me handle it, man?
Well, okay. I've been pulled off here on the side of the road. I've been 125 miles to try to win a ticket.
All right, well, that's what I specialize in, man. It's pretty.
Yeah, hey, I've been hearing you about. How many years you been on the? I've been listening at you for several years. Here I have caught you on the line.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, give us a call at that number. All right.
What's that number?
561-899-4151.
561.
899-4151.
Pencil it right on this paper here. Yeah, maybe my friend in California that said that while I was waiting on y'all. Somebody out in California won it, didn't he?
That's correct. You got a bit.
Maybe it's my FedEx friend that used to live with me. He's from Alabama. Maybe he won it. But he's down there in L.A.
You think he'd be your friend anymore? Yeah, that's where the ticket was sold, right there just outside of L.A., Johnny. Yeah, that's another thing. When you win, everyone that knew you from high school, people that made fun of you will come back and say, hey, remember me? Remember me?
No doubt.
Oh, man, you were so cool. Yeah, exactly.
No kidding.
Okay, let me get a quick break in here. Toll free, it's 888-860-8785. 860-TRUK. And we'll be back after this on ATN, driven by Celadon and driveceladon.com. Yeah, so they've got all the news crews set up outside the 7-Eleven store, helicopters hovering overhead, and crowds of people gathering, according to the reports from NBC, chanting Chino Hills, Chino Hills, and people going in to take selfies and photographs. Apparently the clerk that actually, supposedly, I don't know how they know which clerk sold the winning ticket, but the store itself does get they get $1 million for selling the winning ticket. So there's some 7-Eleven store out there that's very pleased with $1 million, so they can take the day off.
I knew they got some kind of percentage. I didn't know how much it was, but heck, $1 million, that's a nice kick.
That'd be no doubt about it. So, I don't understand why everybody's gathering outside their store. Hey, you want $1 billion? Throw us some money now, all right? Is that what they're saying? Throw me some of that. Let me get back to the phones here. Blossom, I believe it is. Hi there.
Hi. I had a question. I called in years back when I had a problem with IRS, and he was able to help me. Now, I'm having a problem with my city taxes, and I don't know if you can help me or not, but we moved to Virginia for 2010 up to 2012, and then we moved back to Ohio in 2012 of October. And City of Toledo is trying to charge me taxes for the whole year of being a resident when I wasn't a resident. And my tax preparer, they made a mistake and didn't do what they were supposed to do. But they finally redid everything, and I even showed the City of Toledo a letter saying that we were not residents in Ohio. But they're still charging me like $1,300 for that year.
Well,
what
there's
can I do
no
to
reason.
prove that I?
And did you have a driver's license or proof of residence for Virginia?
Yes, I did. But when we moved back to Ohio, I had to turn that in and get Ohio because we're truck drivers.
Well, I've had this happen before, and all we had to do was we had to send in. Now, you're talking about that they're charging you for a year that you weren't actually a resident of Ohio. You had moved, and they assumed that you were still a resident in Ohio, right?
Right.
Okay. So all we've done in the past is exactly what you've done, and we provided them with a new driver's license. Even if you returned it back to an Ohio, if you have a copy of the old one or a DMV record from Virginia or a lease agreement or a mortgage statement or anything like that from Virginia showing that you were living in Virginia at the time they're assessing you for this debt, then they have to erase the debt.
No, I don't have my Virginia license because when we moved back to Ohio, they took it and we went back to Ohio license. Although I had my electric and water bill and taxes in Virginia for my car license and everything, but they said that they would not accept that my tax preparer should fix it. So they fixed it, and then we got a letter saying that we were residents of Virginia in 2012 and moved back to Ohio in November of 2012, but they're still charging me that $1,300, so I don't know what to do as of right now.
When did you send in the proof?
I sent it in to them 2 months ago.
All right, so probably what's happening is you're getting letters that are crossing in the mail. If you sent it in 2 months ago, they didn't process it yet. That's the problem.
Oh, no, they did. I faxed it to him, and he said, yeah, it would be taken care of. But I haven't gotten a letter from them. And my bill, I keep getting a bill from them saying that I owe $2,000, but if I was to pay in full, they want $4,000, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, sounds to me that one department doesn't know what the other department's doing, which happens in every state tax agency and the IRS all the time. So it's just a matter that one department's not talking to the other. You may have to resubmit the same form several times for it actually to be taken care of. But if you were not a resident and you know you weren't a resident and you can prove it, you won't have to pay it. So if you need my help, I'll help you out with it. You don't owe a whole bunch, and it would just take a whole lot of going back and forth with them over and over again until they finally just give up.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
All right. You're very welcome.
Thank you, Blossom. Have a good morning. Good luck there. The headaches of taxes, they really can be a true headache.
It's a nightmare, and like I said, the last 6 months they've been a real nightmare. especially at the IRS. I know we were just talking about how one department doesn't know what the other department's doing. Letters are crossing in the mail. Processing's taking forever. It's just getting absolutely ridiculous. Revenue officers are being assigned to cases. There used to be a unit specifically for individuals that owed more than $100,000 called LDU. It was a large dollar unit. And dealing with them was a headache. But now they've done away with LDU. They've done away with the large dollar unit. Anybody that owes $100,000 or more gets their own revenue officer assigned. And it really is just becoming a great headache because a lot of these revenue officers, they get on this big authority kick, and if you start playing games with them, it really becomes a nightmare. They come in acting like your best friend in the world. When they come and meet you, they come knocking on the door with the badge and everything, and they act like they just want to get the case off their desk. Just give them all the information they need, and then several weeks later, they're coming at you playing hardball and using all the information you just gave them against you. So, again, I can't stress how important it is that, if you're over the 50,000 mark to the 100,000 mark, man, get help. Whether it's me or somebody else, get help.
All right, there, we'll get a quick timeout. Dan got you coming up next. We'll get to Laura. Tommy, hang in there. It is ATN, driven by Celadon, and drive Celadon.com. Michael, the tax doctor, My Tax Help MD on the web if you want to learn more there. A lot of
make sure you grab yourself.
Frequently asked questions and whatnot you'll find there on the website. Let me see here. Let's get back. Promise we get Dan next. Thanks for hanging in there, Dan. Good morning.
Good morning, Steve. Good morning, Dean.
Hey, Dan. How are you?
Hey, not too bad. Hey, Steve, I just want to tell you, 22 years of listening to you and your dad. This is the first time we've ever spoke.
How about that? Well, good to hear from you.
Yeah, how about that? Hey, a quick question for you here. Years back, we entered into a Fresh Start program with the IRS.
Mm-hmm.
Sure you're aware of what that is?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. We're about, I think we're into the fourth year on this thing now, and we're wanting to pay it off here early.
Okay.
And my question for you is, if we pay it off early, is there a difference between what they say we owe on paper versus what the actual payoff is? Like if you pay off a car or a loan early, is the interest, would it be less than what they actually say it is?
So the Fresh Start you have is the 72-month Fresh Start, right? Actually, if it was 4 years ago, it's a 60-month Fresh Start.
Yeah,
right?
I believe it's 6 years, yeah.
Yeah, because they changed it recently to the 72-month. But and what they do is they take what it is you owe, and they split it exactly over 72 months. So they really don't take into consideration the interest and penalties when they figure out that payment. That's the benefit of that particular Fresh Start. There's two Fresh Starts. One is the offer and compromise Fresh Start, where you do a settlement offer and pay a fraction of what you owe, and the other Fresh Start is the 72-month Fresh Start. If you're 4 years into it and you want to pay off a lump sum, you're best to contact them and try and negotiate the lesser amount minus the penalties, because you do have that option. And it's not that they'll guarantee it to you, but one of the things that you will be guaranteed is on the first year, if you had several years involved in this debt, the first year you can get rid of the penalties based on what's called FTO, First Time Offender Program, and they have to give you that automatically. Otherwise, any other penalties would need to be due to a tsunami or, some type of circumstances that were beyond your control, which most people don't have that, in their back pocket for the reason why they got the tax debt. So you can negotiate some type of a lump sum payoff with them, depending on where it's at. Did they file tax liens against you with this program?
No. It was right at about 50,000.
Okay.
And I think put down like 3,000 or something like that to get it below the 50,000 mark.
Right. Because if it's over the 50,000, you got the liens, and it's a whole different ball game.
Right. We did that so that they would definitely, agree to do it. Mm-hmm. And man, the interest penalties is unbelievable. They're worse than loan sharks.
I know, it's absolutely ridiculous. But in all actuality, if you do the math on it, I know the statements that they send you, it shows all of this interest and penalties that are accumulating. But if you do the math on it, when they figured out your payment, they took exactly what you owed and split it up into 72 months without taking into consideration the interest and penalties. So even though the statements that they're sending you aren't showing this, a lot of it, if you ride it out until the 72nd payment, everything else falls off. So it's kind of a plus. It's kind of a plus to ride it out to the 72nd payment because there is no 73rd payment.
I got you. So they're gonna pretty much waive the interest and penalties regardless if I pay it off early.
Yep. Even though it doesn't say that in the statements because they never will. But that's the whole idea behind the Fresh Start program. Number one, not to give you tax liens, and number two, to split it up without taking into consideration what your normal interest would be.
Right. And is that something that I would negotiate with the person on the phone with them, or should I go back to the tax attorney who initially did all this and have that negotiated? Is it?
I think you're going to have a better luck using the attorney.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
I appreciate your help. And yes, your commercials are annoying, but you're very helpful.
All right, bud.
I appreciate you coming on and staying awake, helping us out. Steve, I was on hold listening to you all talking, and everybody calling in. I was thinking, Steve, you could get a prostitute on here talking dirty talk all night, and you wouldn't have as many phone calls as you have with Dean and talking taxes,
I don't know about that.
I don't know. These guys love the girls.
Get a chick with a sexy voice on here. I don't know. That might line them up. Overload. You never can tell. Maybe I should try that one of these days.
Speaking of that, I said earlier that we have the lovely Latasha answering the phone here. I have guys calling in. We have a call center. She works in the call center. And she'll leave a message for these guys, and these guys are always calling back, just wanting to talk to her. They don't even have a tax problem. They're just calling just to talk to her.
Just wanted to hear
get
that
off the
voice.
phone already.
Well, real quick in regards to Dan's question, so I guess the point is, if he pays off a lump sum now, 4 years into a 6-year program, will those penalties and interest still drop off, or is that what he's going to have to try to negotiate?
Yeah, that's what's going to have to be negotiated. It's not automatic.
Okay, but if he paid the payments and extended it to the 72 months he had, it would automatically fall off?
For sure.
That's
the whole idea behind the Fresh Start. Yep.
Okay, very interesting. All right, well, hold right there, Dean. We're up to the top of the hour. We'll get a news update, and we'll get back to your calls coming up here, rolling into a Thursday. Our number is 888-860-8785. Steve Sommers, Thursday, 14th day of January. It is America's Trucking Network, driven by Celadon, and drive Celadon.com.